Hey everybody, it is Stephanie here with Infernal TV, and I'm here with Nige Rockett of Onslaught. So how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Stephanie. How are you doing in this strange time?
I'm hanging in there. It's very strange times in need, but at least Generation Antichrist is coming out very soon, so Onslaught fans have that to look forward to. But when I listened to the album, I've noticed that it was definitely faster and more extreme than previous Onslaught releases, or at least I think it is. So, well, one, do you agree? And two, if you did, then why did you go that direction?
Yeah, totally. It was totally the intention of making this album the most aggressive one we've done. We kind of had a plan. We discussed everything in advance before we started writing the songs, and we decided we wanted to go back a little back to our roots. Early influences. We kind of felt the last two albums, as much as we loved them, they were quite technical in terms of Onslaught material. So we thought let's do something different because we didn't want two albums to sound the same. Let's go back to our roots and make a really brutal, aggressive thrash metal album. It is influenced once again by the likes of Discharge and Motorhead. So that's what we did. We looked at what we were doing back in the early days and kind of mixed it up with on 20.
Nice. And the one thing I noticed that a lot of the songs are also very catchy. Why do you think it's important to add a little bit of catchiness to, heavy music?
Yeah, I think that's something with going back to our roots. If you listen to a lot of the early thrash stuff, it's a lot of hooks in the songs. So that was something that was part of the plan. And also in kind of this modern day and age of streaming music, I think you need to catch the listener's attention as much as possible. So the album's quite short. When we delivered the album, the record company goes 35 minutes. Yeah, that's it. It's you don't need no more. It's we don't want to bore people, but we want to hit everybody hard with strong songs. So let's put 8 strong songs on the album. Nobody wants to skip a track. So that was the plan. Make every track a potential single, if you like, if you want to describe it like that. And there's no throwaway tracks. That was the intention, and that's how it seems to have gone down. Everybody's saying, "Great, it's amazing. We don't want to skip a track. Every track could be played live. Every track could be a video. So it seems to be working."
Nice. And another thing I noticed is I think there are some serious, amazing solos. I definitely think the guitar work just went up like 10 notches with this album. So, well, first off, are you the one playing the solos? And if so, like, how did you write guitars for this album?
No, I retired from playing solos on the Instructor Sanity album. When we came back together, it was been such a layoff that I really didn't. I wouldn't say at the time, but I didn't have the inclination to restart learning all my solo technicalities again. I was just happy playing rhythm guitar. That's what I've always loved doing. So when we got back together in 2005, we specifically looked for a lead guitarist. But as you say, with this album, for me as well, I totally agree. The solos are a completely different level. I mean, that's no disrespect to any of the guys who've had in the band before, because we've had some great musicians. But the solos really are something else on this album. They just fit. They're so aggressive, but they have so much melody and hooks to them in a dark kind of way, And yeah, I've worked with Wayne a lot. Wayne played, obviously, Wayne Dorman, our guitarist, did all the soloing, but I worked with him on the solos because I can't write solos, I just don't like playing. So we worked together on a lot of the solos, but what a job he's did. Incredible guitarist. It was so good.
Nice. And now I want to talk about Dave Garnett. Compared to Cy Keeler, I think he has way more aggressive vocals. And I know that you worked with Dave, I know he filled in a couple of shows, so you already worked with him, but were you looking for more of an aggressive vocal style for this album?
Um, you're very right in what you say, and that's cool you say it because I wouldn't say. I mean, obviously the intention was to make this record with Psy, but obviously it's well documented what's happened, and we were just lucky in the fact that Dave was there, right on our doorstep. I've known Dave for many years, and he's best buddies with our drummer James, and they live in the same town. Obviously, known each other since kids. So it was there. As you said, he stepped in we did a festival back in February. It was the last show before lockdown. So I was unavailable. Dave stepped in, and what a job he did, He delivered all the old material absolutely perfectly. So when we kind of got back from the festival, the situation cleared itself up, and us inside decided to go our separate ways. So Dave was there waiting in the wings to come in, So we asked him to demo a couple of tracks, which he did from the new album. Once he did that, it was like, let's get on with this. You've got 3 weeks to learn the album. Go and record it, which he did. So it was no drama, really, nothing. Just so smooth. And we were just lucky that Dave was there because, he has taken it up another notch. They do sound kind of similar in ways when you listen to them sing the old material and stuff. But whereas Psy's got a very thick, deep voice, Dave's got quite a really aggressive mid-range tone to his voice, and I think that's really complemented the new tracks even more so. So with the production on it, it's just incredible.
Yeah, and then something else I want to say about Dave, because I feel like his vocals are more traditional thrash. I mean, Psy, I feel like he's a very unique vocalist, and I think that he gave Onslaught a very distinguished sound, but especially since this new album, you're kind of going back to the roots, and I think Dave is perfect. His vocal style is perfect for that.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, I mean, Psy was always heavily influenced by like Deep Purple and Priest and stuff like that. So you get kind of where he comes from, whereas Dave was more brought up on thrash from day one. So I guess that's where his lead has come. It's where he learned to sing, or where all his vocal influences lie. So yeah, I mean, it's right, but it does work so well, and he's such a great frontman as well. So lots of energy. So it's really up the level of energy levels with an Onslaught on record and on stage now. So can't wait to get out to some more shows.
Well, I mean, I wasn't sure if I should ask about shows because everything is so unpredictable now, but looking, I guess, like reading some of your more recent interviews, and it seems like a lot of the festivals and shows you're supposed to play this year are getting rescheduled, or some shows even like later in the year are still booked. So do you expect that, I guess, your show schedule to, or do you expect to play those shows, or is it still kind of all up in the air right now?
Yeah, it's pretty much up in the air. I don't think we'll play a show this year, to be honest.
Oh.
We have one left in the UK. I think it's a festival October, November, but I can't see that happening. So we've been lucky that the festivals that we had this year have been scheduled for 2021, which is cool, something to look forward to if they go ahead. But obviously the bigger loss was the tours that we were booking for the end of the year. Now they have to be rebooked. There's a lot of work gone into that, so it's a completely fresh start on the touring. US visas have to be applied for again and paid for again. So it's a major headache in terms of touring as opposed to festivals, But what do? We're trying to reschedule more tours. But the promoters are still being a little bit nervous, as you can imagine, because they're unsure when we can do shows properly. And I don't really want to go into the kind of social distancing shows. I don't think that's not going to work for a band like us personally. But we're just going to have to see and take each day as it comes with the pandemic.
Right, that makes sense. Now, you mentioned this earlier. You said that no two Onslaught albums sound the same. Why do you think that's important?
Well, I think it's important to me, and it's important to me in the fact that I don't want to calm the fans for one. You know, I mean, what's the point of putting two albums out back to back that sang the same? I mean, every one of our albums is sound radically different, even though it still has the Onslaught vibe to each record. Maybe except for In Search of Sanity, possibly, but each record sounds different in its own right, and I think that's how it should be. It's still identifiably Onslaught, but different from the last. And we have, because of the situation we're in at the moment, we have started work on new songs, which I'm a little bit apprehensive about because of Generation Antichrist is not even released yet. So, and I'm wary that there'd be too much influence from that album on new songs, because usually we have quite a gap in 7 years from the last one. A little bit too big of a gap, but yeah, I'd like a couple of years in between albums, so there's no kind of all the fresh ideas are in, you know. So, but I think we're still under Generation Antichrist vibe at the moment, so I'd have to be a little bit careful on new material.
Interesting. But I'm sure the new material will be awesome, whether it's similar to Generation Antichrist or you go on a different direction.
Yeah, thank you.
And now, I mean, as one of the founding Onslaught members, I mean, of course, like there was a time that Onslaught was on hiatus. You've had some lineup changes, but you've always kept Onslaught alive throughout all these years. So why is that important to keep the band going?
Because this is what I love doing, basically. It's a very privileged position to be in, and however much money you had in your personal wealth, you couldn't afford to buy this experience. What we as a band go through, you know, we get to travel the world. I think we've played in almost 70 different countries around the world. You meet extraordinary people, and you play shows for these people. So to do that is inspiration in itself, you know, because we go to some of the most amazing places in that great time. So it would be hard to let go, I tell you. It really would.
Awesome. And then this is the last question. You can say anything you want. You can promote the new album. You can say thanks to the fans. Take it away.
Okay. Well, our new album, Generation Antichrist, is coming out on August the 7th. Worldwide release. I'm describing this album as angry music for angry people in angry times. So please check the album out. Personally, it's, for me, it's the best album Onslaught have made. It's a perfect blend between Onslaught 1986 and Onslaught 2020. So I'm sure the broad spectrum of our fans are really going to enjoy this album. So please check it out, guys. Be safe and take care. And we'll see you on the road once this horrible pandemic disappears. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you for checking out the interview. Generation Antichrist will be out August 7th. It's a very awesome album. And definitely support Onslaught, especially during these weird times right now. And then hopefully, just like Nige said, right after this pandemic clears up, then we'll be seeing these guys live. So thank you again for listening, and stay metal, everyone.